Hello and welcome back to my channel Lady T. My name is Nathalie and today I have another story for you. But instead of looking at some random things around my house or some movies, some clips from nature, I'm going to tell you the story with me in the image today. So I hope you will enjoy the story. So today we start a story in a deep ravine. A detective has just come to a crime scene, a rather strange crime scene. Strange. At first sight, it is just a simple accident, something that a detective shouldn't have to bother with, shouldn't waste his time on. Because there's a victim laying face down on the ground at the bottom of the ravine. Somewhere above him is the bridge, an iron bridge, that's just looking down at the victim. But there is something strange about this victim, because there's a parachute dropped over him. Why is that strange? Well, this isn't a normal sight for people to bungee jump or to use the parachute on. So it is a little off, but nothing really strange yet. The parachute is dropped over the victim. It has several kinds of stripes: yellow stripes, orange stripes, red stripes. Nothing really out of the ordinary. So when the detective comes and sees the victim, he thinks, well, at least I can solve this one rather quickly, because it is quite apparent what happened. He jumped off the bridge, maybe his parachute didn't open in time, and he hit the ground quite hard. But then the paramedics come in, the photographs are taken, and they take the parachute off of him so that they can transport his body. But when the parachute comes off, the detective, with all of his years of experience, notices something strange. Because the wounds on the body of the victim don't really match the ones that someone who dropped down quite some distance would have on their body. The wounds seem deeper, like he was cut or stabbed or something else happened. There also seem to be defensive wounds on his hands. So it doesn't really correspond with the situation that they are faced with. It was almost as if someone staged this. Maybe the victim didn't even fall from the bridge. So the detective, feeling in his gut that this is not just an accident with a parachutist whose parachute just didn't open in time, he feels like he should investigate further. His partner and him go around the scene, trying to find something at the bottom of the ravine, but there's nothing there. Nothing much to find. So instead, he decides to go up to the bridge, because maybe, or quite likely, the victim was either thrown down the bridge or he did jump from the bridge. And the wounds are just random. Maybe he was stabbed before, but the detective needs to find out. So him and his partner go up to the bridge. And there is something that immediately catches his eye. There are two pairs of muddy footprints, one pair leading from the forest to the middle of the bridge, and one pair of muddy footprints leaving from the middle of the bridge back to the woods. Which is also strange, because it couldn't have been the victim, or more than likely it wasn't, or he would have changed his shoes somewhere before returning back to where he jumped from. So the detective thinks, maybe there was someone with him, someone who came and we left. Now there isn't another set of footprints, so that must mean that the victim was already dead, or at least couldn't walk by himself, because otherwise there would have been another set of footprints leaving, at least going to the middle of the bridge, because the forest is quite muddy around this time of year with all the rain going on. And there is something else that's strange, because it could have been that someone just walked to the walked over the bridge, just came through the forest, and thought, hey, there's someone laying down, I should get help. But then the footprints of the leaving back to the forest would have been farther apart. There isn't any haste, just someone casually walking back. So that doesn't quite fit with just an accident. So the foul play card is just getting bigger and bigger in the detective's mind, and he feels like he must solve this because something happened here. So he goes along the bridge to the middle, and when he comes close to where the muddy footprints end, he sees there are some little specks of blood on the railing of the bridge. So this just proves to him that he was right, this isn't an accident. So him and his partner go down into the forest and follow the muddy footprints. And at first, those footprints can be found traced back over a normal path that anyone would venture over. But at some part in the forest they leave and go into the forest itself, disregarding the path completely. As the detective and his partner follow the footprints, the woods get thicker and thicker. In this part of the forest, the trees grow rather close together. You can't really see the sun. The sun is trying to break through the leaves, but it can't quite hit the ground. It's just too thick. But at some point, in the darkest part of the forest, a small cabin can be seen through several trees. So the detective and his partner calmly walk towards the cabin. It's a strange little cabin with only one door and one window. His partner already has his gun in hand, just in case, because you don't really know who you're going to run into. The detective feels quite relaxed. He just walks up to the cabin and knocks. And then he can hear footsteps coming to the door, leaving again, coming back to the door, and leaving again. So the detective knocks again, because he's sure that there's someone inside, but they are just not answering the door. Then the footsteps stop. He doesn't hear a thing. So the detective says, "We can hear there is someone inside. We need to talk to you. Can you please open the door?" But no one replies. So the detective knocks a third time. And once again the footsteps come to the door, they leave the door, and they come again. And then they stop. The detective says, "Whoever you are, make yourself known. We have some questions about a dead body that we found at the bottom of the ravine." And then finally the door opens. And an old man with a long grey beard stands there in the door opening. He looks down at the ground. His head is bald, and he doesn't meet the detective's eyes. The detective takes a step forward. "Sir, I think you know why we're here. We found a body down at the bottom of the ravine, and there were some muddy footprints going up to the bridge and leaving it again. And they led us back here to your cabin. So I think you have a few things to explain to us." The man doesn't meet their gaze, but instead he steps out of the way, signals them for them to come in. The detective goes in without any problem. He just wants to get the story, and he doesn't feel like he should have anything to worry about, because he has his help. But the detective's servant goes in a little hesitantly. He doesn't really want to die today, maybe another day, but not today. So he keeps his gun in his left hand, ready to shoot if necessary. But nothing happens. The man leaves the door open as the detective and his help just sit down on the couch, and the man just stands there. "I reckoned you would come," he said. "You know, this wasn't meant to happen. If only he had stayed away from my property, nothing would have happened. You see, sir, I just want to stay here all by myself in nature. I don't want to be a part of society anymore. I've been there. And I don't want to be a part of it anymore. I just want to live my life here, all alone. I don't need anybody else. I am not asking for anybody else. But this morning, that man that you found, that you call a victim, he came knocking on my door, threatening me that I should leave my house, that I should come back, that there are these plans to get me back into society, but that is not what I want. And then he got mad, and he wouldn't listen to me. I tried reasoning with him. I tried to explain him what I'm telling you right now, but he just wouldn't listen. He had this idea in his mind, and no matter what I said, it didn't matter. So he tried to leave, and he said that he was going to get the police, and I just didn't know what to do anymore. Before I really knew what I was doing, I grabbed a knife from the counter over there, and I stabbed him. I don't remember how many times I stabbed him. If I think about it, it must have been a couple of times. I didn't mean to kill him, but I was so blinded with rage. I don't want to leave this life behind. But now that you're here, I know my faith. Take me down to the police station and lock me up. I know that I've made a mistake. A grave mistake that I can't take back. So the detective put cuffs on him and got him down to the police station. And after an interrogation, he found out that the man had dragged the body over to the bridge. Because the man had been living in society before he became reclusive here in his own cabin. He did still have a parachute laying around his cabin, just in case, which came in quite handy right now, because he tried to make it look like an accident. Because even though the old hermit knew that he was at fault, he didn't want to go back to society, not even if it meant going to jail. He knew he was wrong, but he didn't want to go back to society. Thank you for coming back to this video, and thank you for listening to this story. I tried to do something new because I felt like the other stories were getting kind of boring with just nothing really happening on screen. So instead I tried to do this because we had some classes in school about storytelling and I wanted to try it out. So I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you're having a lovely day, and maybe I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye! As the detective and his partner follow the footprints, the woods get thicker and thicker. The trees are not growing in neat rows anymore. They are really growing. In this part of the forest, the trees grow rather together. Wat wil ik nou zeggen?